Hi, Melonie. Eva is the most tech-savvy and strategic character, but her motivations remain somewhat mysterious. How did you shape her backstory and drive in your performance?
Um, I think the backstory is that well, I was saying this earlier that originally it was her grandmother that was sick or something like that, and she needed money to help her. And so that was kind of like the drive in organizing these group of people to get their money back. I think she's a person that has been down and out for a while, that's economically struggling. She's probably worked three jobs and she's mad at the man and she wants to get what's rightfully hers. And also, justice. She feels like these people deserve justice. And that was a big part of like her driving force in the film.
Hi, Warren. Billy is a father whose desperation drives him to drastic action. How did you tap into his emotional journey and the weight of his decisions?
It's interesting because Zoe Winters, who plays Billy's wife, who shows up early in the script, came on the last day of shooting. Her scene was like literally on the last day we shot, and she came on and absolutely crushed this role and gave, even with just one scene, gave so much history to this relationship and sort of Billy's motivation, which isn't just his daughter, but also showing everyone that he can come out on top and he can do right by his family, and I think he's got a real chip on his shoulder. You can't really play that as an actor. I mean, I think he always feels like his goals and his needs are very righteous, and that's what sort of motivates him and gives him urgency, and certainly his urge to come out on top and to 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 be a hero for his daughter is a big motivating factor. And that was, I mean, that's all there in the script. John Hibey and Cutter gave us such great tools to work with as actors, but he was such a fun character to play because his motivations were always so clear to me.
Melanie, Eva starts as the one with the plan, but things spiral quickly. How did you navigate a transition from being in control to facing unexpected challenges?
Um, I mean, yeah, I think that Eva has been like kind of like the mastermind of the plan. And then when things go awry, I think I think just like the character, she doesn't know what's happening and she gets shot and she's hurt. Yeah, it was really fun to play that person who kind of feels like she knows what's going to happen, how to handle the situation, and then all of a sudden you're running for your life. Um, it was a really fun, unexpected thing to play.
Mm.
While Billy's belief in cryptocurrency is ultimately his downfall, do you see him as a victim of financial systems or does he bear responsibility for his own fate?
I mean, in some ways, I guess it's both. I think he's a victim of what's already, the system that's already established. It's not meant to uplift people like him, and then ultimately, like his desperation that leads him to like look for this quick fix that is ultimately not there at the end of the day. That's ultimately embodied by Hegel, Josh Brenner's character, as this, kind of this crook who's like just looking to make money off the little man, which I think is very emblematic of the current state of affairs in this country.
For both, the film's premiere felt rapid from the headline, especially with real-world financial scandals. How much of the story was inspired by actual events?
Well, there was I remember talking to Cutter about this when I was first approached with the script and the project, and there was a documentary. that was out that it was about crypto world and sort of people getting scammed out of their money, and so it's very much based off of research that they had done. Cutter has a documentary background, so I feel like he does a fair share of research, I think there's a lot that's pulled from real events.
Wasn't
But
there
also,
somebody that was in the town that like he was responsible for taking money and then he ended up like being in the Berkshires while we were filming or something like that?
yeah.
What was that guy's name? I forget his name.
Yes,
Coincidence of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so we were filming the movie and there was like this guy who was like responsible for that. And we were like, oh, well, art versus life, art creates life kind of thing.
The dynamic between Billy, Dan, and Eva constantly shifts after as tension rise. How did you and co-star work together to create this evolving relationship?
I mean, I think in some ways, Cutter just, I think so much is in the casting. And if you cast well and people, um, are able to bring their authentic selves and play off each other, and that's the kind of the best formula for a good film. And I think Cutter and his producers did such a good job in putting this great team together. Tony Cavallero and Josh Brenner and Melanie, of course, and everyone else that just came. It was a wonderful group of people that just made. I think it made it really really easy when you have a cast that's just good.
And my last question, what can you tell us about your collaboration with director Cutter Hodierne? How
Cutter's so nice. He's so nice and he's so easy to work with. And I think Raúl mentioned that he has a he's a documentary background. So I think it's very like in the moment, like what feels right. There's a certain amount of planning, but it is still very organic. And I think for me personally, that's like my favorite kind of environment to work in because I mean, you have a script that's like the Bible, but also as actors, you're able to play and you're given the freedom to play. And I think that when you create that kind of safety for a cast, I think great things happen. And I think that
Mm,
Cutter is really, really good at that.
mhm.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Likewise, thank you.